Got money on my mind, I swear I'm gonna win, even if it kills me. I got money on my mind, the only way I'm gonna rest is if these motherfuckers kill me. I got money on my mind.
Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a video on why you should buy a newer BMW model and why you should avoid the old cars, and why I think the newer BMWs are a lot better and more spacious, more safer than the older BMWs and the older generation cars. As you all know, this is a BMW E60 and it's 2006, and as you guys know, I've owned a lot of BMWs from E39, E46, E60, E61, and I'm just going to go over to you why I think these cars are better than the E46 era and the E39 era. So for starters, these cars are a lot better because they're more spacious inside. When BMW built this car, if you get in one of these in the E39 feels very low down and less spacious. That's all because they were built in an era where people didn't require so much space and people weren't as tall as they are this day and age. They went and made this car more refined, more comfortable, more safer and more practical. Now, I usually have a car seat in the back of this car, and as you see, it's still got quite a lot of room still in the back of this car. Now, this car is a very, very big, spacious car, as you'll see right here. Now, it's also safe and practical because, as you know, as the years went on, the cars got more advanced in technology. They fitted more airbags to the car. So, for instance, in the door cards, the dash, the curtains, everywhere you see there's an airbag in this car. So this car's a lot safer. Now, if you was to crash in a car like this, you would have an airbag that will deploy everywhere, so you're a lot safer than what you would be in an older car. I know they say older cars are more solid and more stable and easy to use, very cheap, but let me tell you otherwise, that's not the case. For instance, on an E39 and an E46, when you're driving down a motorway, you can still hear the wind noise through them. On an E60, on the other hand, you can't hear no wind noise coming through the car at all. These cars are more solid, more robust than the previous generation. If you can do the maintenance yourself, you are laughing, because these cars are not bad cars at all. People are saying to avoid these cars because of module problems. Module problems only comes if the car ain't been looked after, and that's where you avoid buying any kind of car that hasn't been looked after. For instance, the most common problems on these: parking sensors not working. That's the first one of many that is going to happen. Tires probably being bald, you're going to need new tires, 100%. Brakes probably shot, another one. Steering wheel wear, if the car's had a hard life, possible. And obviously modules. Now, the Bluetooth module in these likes to fail a lot, and so does the iDrive on previous models, so be aware of that. The iDrive always fails on previous models. That's because of the micro power module going out most of the time and just blowing the circuit on the iDrive completely and the chips, letting it overheat because the micro power module fails, leaving it to run all night until someone notices that their battery's drained. You know, these cars as well like to suffer oil leaks from the oil filter housing gasket, but this does not, and I mean this, does not make these E60s a bad car and gives credit to the previous old cars. The only credit I can give to the older cars is that they're very cheap to maintain and afford. And now, if someone don't have the money but they want to drive a BMW, E46, E39 is better for them. But this build I prefer much more than the E39 or E46, because of the reasons being, this car is very well maintained, it's very well built. As I said, you get a lot of extras in these cars when you buy them. Secondly, there's a lot of leg room, a lot of space in them compared to the E39. And like I said, I had both. I had an E39 just before I bought this, so I know the difference, and this feels a lot more refined, a lot more solid built than the E39, you know, and it's a lot more safer. If you crash in this, you know you're going to survive. If you crash in the E39, you don't know if you're going to come out alive. That's the difference. This car is very safe for if you've got kids or if you've got a family. You know, there's a lot of things on this car which technology has advanced. This car still looks modern to this day and age. You know, it's a very nice car to drive. Do not believe any kind of people who tell you that older cars are better. The reason they tell you that is because they themselves are scared of the newer technology. They don't understand it and they're very scared, and they're trying to put other people off it. These cars, as you guys know, I work on E60 a lot. Yeah, I know the E60 inside and out. This car is not frightening at all. This car is probably one of the prime example of a modern day car you can get. This car come out where this was the first car fitted with that many modules inside it, and it still today looks very modern, very unique, and it still blends in with the newer cars. It puts some of the newer cars to shame, and especially how clean and how well looked after my one is, it still puts them some certain cars to shame. Not all cars, as I said to you in previous videos, will look like this. Really messed up one would still be more worth it than an E39. And that's not to say the E90 isn't practical as well. The E90 as well over the E46 is a very, very good car. And like I said, it's got a lot more room, a lot more refined. That's why a lot of people prefer these. And that's the same for the E60 over the E39. Over the E39, like I said, I had that. I got rid of it to go and get myself an E60 because I've owned these and I wanted to get one back. I know the drive difference. You know, people like Nathan, like me, who's owned both, no, these cars are a lot more safer, a lot more easier, and they are not hard cars to work on at all if you know how to do them, you know. And it just don't go down to that. Like I say, I've seen a lot of people putting down these cars and putting down the E90s, telling people to forget about these cars because of Valvetronic issues, because of the module problems, because they get complicated, because they're all computerized. Same with the E65, E63, E60. These cars are not complicated at all. You just need to know how the system works on BMW. These cars are very, very easy cars to work on, very, very easy to change, very, very easy to diagnose. You've seen on the 535 diesel, we finally killed off the central electronics failure. Now, someone who don't understand the modules on these cars won't know how to do that. But if you understand the system on these cars, you'll be able to work for many, many years going forward on all the newer BMWs without fail. And that's because the newer cars are using all the same system. Now, for me using this, going to an F series will be no problem because I understand how the system works. And it's the same for any other car that BMW produce, i.e. the G series. It'll be the same thing. This car, like I said, is the example of what I'm capable of changing a crappy 60 to a good E60. Now, you guys didn't see this E60 when I bought it, but this E60 was destroyed. And one of the previous owners actually contacted me regarding this car this week, who owned it 3 years ago, and he paid, I've got still the receipt, and he was the correct guy. He paid 4,800 and took the other 2 grand out on finance. Now, what he told me was he lost his job and couldn't afford the car. So what he had a mental breakdown. What he went and done, he went and took the car to drunk and smashed the car up a central reservation and smashed all the driver's side suspension arm and completely destroyed it. Now, I wouldn't have known that. We were talking 3 years ago he owned this car. 3 years ago. And he's saying to me he would like to buy his car back, but he can't. He can't buy it back because he don't have the money for what I want for this car. Now, I'm not eager to sell this car either. You guys already know that. This car shows what I'm capable of with an E60. I don't want to get rid of this and have to go and get another one. Like Maz's one is what I intend to make it like this. The 535 diesel will come out the same as this one has. It will have the same system as mine, and it will have the same, like I said, condition as mine once I'm finished with it. At the moment, it's a state, yes, but not when I'm finished with it. But like I said, as you guys know, not every 60 comes like this. This is called a lot of time. I put nearly 8 months into doing this car to restore it back to what it was, you know. And it just shows people do treat these cars bad, and now it's fell into my hands, and that's why I won't let it go, because I don't think there's no other responsible owner out there that can maintain this the way I can. They don't know anything about the modules. They're not going to know how to repair it themselves. Like I said to the guy who owned it, in the 3 years he had it, did he ever open the bonnet once to check for leaks? He told me it never let him down once in the 3 years he owned it. But did he ever check the bonnet? And like he said, no, he never. So a leak could have been happening, and then it had another 2 owners after that, and they probably just drove it the same way until it got completely bad, which it was. And that's when people got rid of it, because it was down in power. Nobody could probably figure out what was wrong with it, and nobody could afford to bring it back up to the maintenance, because as you guys know, garages charge a fortune for labor costs, and nobody could afford every part. This car needed to put it back right, but I did, and I bring it back what it is today. And that's why I did say to him the same thing. I would not sell it back to him, as I told many who come to me telling me their uncles were mechanics, this, that, everyone full, blah blah blah, and I had to tell them, sorry, this car isn't for you. If you don't know how to repair this car yourself, if you don't know how to deal with these kind of cars, I can't sell it to you. It's as simple as that. And sorry, and I know I sound very stuck up, but that's how you have to be. I can't be letting garages touch this car. I can't be letting anyone play about with this car, because I put a lot of work into this car to get it what it was from what it was previously, and now, like I said, it's probably one of the best E60s in the whole UK 530i's. They don't come like this. Mine's black on black, as you'll see as well. People get it confused with blue because it's blue during the day, black at night. You know, the guy said to me he smashed it up the central reservation as if he was proud of it. You know, he tried to tell me he was OCD about the car. He wasn't OCD. He sent me pictures with the towing eye cover missing, the badges all faded. That to me ain't OCD. He put the M badge on, as he even told me, so you guys would like to know that. The previous owner did that. We've took it off, and he kept moaning that I've took off what he put on, his M badge. But unfortunately, it's not meant to be on there. I've tied this car from what it was. He felt proud to say that, but unfortunately, now he's seen what his car's now become. It is more for him, because whatever he done to it still didn't stop me bringing it up to what it is now, and to the point he wants it back but can't even afford to do it. So it just goes to show this car now is mine. And like I said to you, regarding that, this car is now probably the perfect example of an E60, and I feel like this is probably one of the greatest cars for anyone to go and buy. If you're considering buying an E39 or any of that sort, I advise you to think carefully. Do you want a car that's safe and very up to date? Now you got to think, E39's mapping and their Bluetooth is not very up to date. This car has the iDrive, the Bluetooth, the auxiliary, heated seats, you name it, it's got everything. Heads up display. E39 doesn't have all that. It's very up to date. Some of them come with DAB, some of them come with TV tuner. These cars can become very, very fully loaded, and they can come with everything that anyone could ever want in a car. You will get more for your money on one of these than you will any E39. Yes, the E39 is going to be a classic, but for safety and reliability, these cars are very, very solid and will keep going and going and going, and they're very reliable. You guys know I've used this many, many times to travel around my country with no issues whatsoever with this car. And like I said, there is not many E60s in this condition. When I got it, I bought it from a trader, you know, and the electronics were all over the place, wires hanging out everywhere. Everything was a mess. I had to redo the whole wiring inside the fuse box, go into the cast. Everything was just all over the place until I got this back to what it is today. You know, we had the old turnable knobs, and I upgraded that to climate control panel. You see here, dual climate zone control panel, because it had the normal one. Everything on this car has been changed. Just thought I'd do this video telling you why I think the E60 is better than all the older cars, and why I don't fear them. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. It wasn't really much. It was just to, like I said, just to really elaborate, because a lot of people keep putting this car down, and I'm quite fuming about that, because I don't feel like this car should be put down when it deserves a lot of credit for what it is. People are saying it uses cheap parts. I can assure you, this car, if you look behind it closely, does not use cheap parts compared to the E39. This car is actually very well built together, very well built together, you know, and it's a very, very solid car and capable of a lot more if it goes to the right person who understands them. These cars are only bad cars when they fall into owners that don't understand them. That's when they become bad cars. But if you've got, that's why I said I can't let this car go, because nobody will understand it the way I do. People still don't in the UK here understand the modules and how complicated they are, and the engine side of it, and the Valvetronic, unless you've got experience with it like I have. And I have a lot of experience with these cars. That's why my car, as you see, is still I've been perfectly in running since the whole time we've been here recording. That's it, guys. As always, thank you very much for watching. This is BMW Dr. Dean here. Please give this video a thumbs up, and goodbye.